Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Gorowski, and I will be your host for today. For those who are just tuning in for the first time today, we are, oh, we just have a classroom. Gotta get there. Okay, there we go. Got it. So couldn't be more excited to be hosting events during Secret Path Week in partnership with the Gord Downie and Chanie Wenjack Fund. So the Downie Wenjack Fund is part of musician Gord Downie's legacy and embodies his commitment and that of both the Downie and Wenjack families to call Canadians to action in solidarity with the Indigenous peoples of this land. So the goal is to continue the conversation that began with Chanie Wenjack's residential school story and to support the reconciliation process through awareness, education, and action. So for the next 4 school days, we'll have classrooms across Canada joining in to help us celebrate Indigenous scientists, artists, and leaders from across the country and work towards meaningful reconciliation. So we're really excited today to be joined by Angela Miracle Gladue, who is also known as Lunacee, is a Cree Greek mother, dancer, and beadwork artist from Frog Lake First Nation, who started cultural dancing at age 6 and continued her career as a hip hop artist since 2003. She's been invited to perform, teach, and speak to countless countries throughout the world and now tours as one of the lead dancers for A Tribe Called Red. She's also open for major recording artists like TLC, Sean Paul, Lil'Kim, Maestro, Grandmaster Flash, Bustah Rhymes, to name a few. So Angela, it is so awesome to have you joining us live today. We're excited to get to know you a little better.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Tanse, Angela Nasigason. I was told I could prepare some slides for you. This is my 3rd time doing something like this. The first time I was just in like this office room and I just talked to a camera and that was it. And then the second time it was from here. I just sat outside and again, I just talked in the camera to a classroom. But this time I'm going to try something different because I was like, oh, I didn't realize we can do these slides. So you guys ready? I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Oh, can you let me know if you could see me, see what I'm doing? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, let's see what happens. Hey. Oh, this is cool. Hey. So, Amiskwachiwa Skaiga no Chinia. I am from Treaty 6 territory that is in Edmonton, Alberta, home of West Edmonton Mall. So this is where I was born and raised. I Ania Nehiao Iskru. I am Cree and I'm also Greek. And I've been dancing since 2003 as a B-girl, and I started powwow dancing when I was 6. This is my nukum. Nukum is grandma, my grandma. Kukum, it means your grandma. So this is my nukum, Mary Emma Stanley, with my Nisimis, which means brother, Tony Gladue. So that's me when I was small. So I was actually raised by my grandma from the time I was about 2 years old till about 12 years old. And my grandma, she was actually in residential school. And so I was raised by her for a good time of my life because my mom, she couldn't take care of me. A lot of what my grandmother and grandfather went through in residential school was very, very, very traumatic. And so when it was time for them to have children, I'm sure you've been studying what happened in residential schools. My mom and my aunties and uncles, they had a very hard time because they went through some, intergenerational trauma because of what my grandmother went through. So then me and my brother Tony ended up living with her for a little while. And it's very interesting because my grandma, she spoke Cree, that's all she spoke, and she didn't really speak English, but she wouldn't speak Cree to me and my little brother. So we didn't really have any conversations, and I developed like social anxiety and stuff like that, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. And so I didn't really talk to my grandma much, but she took good care of us. But the place where I started getting cultural education was a place called Prince Charles Elementary. So my grandma, because of the residential school, she knew a lot of like Catholicism and stuff like that. I would see her praying with the beads in the nighttime and in the daytime. But she didn't really teach us anything about who we were as Nehiawak Cree people. And so I totally understand, it's all good based on what she went through. But this place, Prince Charles School, was one of the first places that taught us dancing. So I learned how to fancy shawl dance here when I was about 6 years old. I learned how to metis dance. So that's me when I was, I'm actually, I'm in the bottom row, smiling, looking off. I'm on the like the right hand side, the second to the right on the bottom. So I was about 12 years old there. And then my friend Holly was the other youngest person in this group. So like straight out of elementary school, my teacher, Rita Norris, who's in the middle, she took us and put us in this like Métis dance group, and we traveled around Canada, and then we did performances throughout Edmonton. So I started like gigging, we call performing, at a very young age. Even at Prince Charles School, they would take us to different elementary schools, senior citizen homes, high schools, and then we would perform powwow dancing. So this is something I've been doing since a very young age. At Prince Charles as well, we also started learning Cree. So I just learned basic words throughout the years, but nothing that was conversational enough to talk to other Cree people, just some basics. But this was a big part of creating a solid identity for me in knowing that I was First Nations. Let's see here. Yeah, these are some of the respect, humility, honesty, integrity. They call this the Golden Feather Award. So, if you're following these virtues, you'll get awarded every month with the Golden Feather, which is just like this piece of paper, an award in the school. So, I started powwow dancing, and I continued to do this to this day. That's me at a powwow there during an intertribal. So living with my grandmother, let's see here. Sorry guys, this is my first time trying this slideshow thing, so I'm kind of just following along and trying to explain my life here. But I have these dance club slides because when I was about 10 years old, my auntie took me to an Indigenous social club. So it was a nightclub, but it was all ages, and people would just socialize. There's pool tables, there was a place to buy pop and chips, and there was a dance floor that looked just like this with lights. There was a DJ. It was pretty hype. And at 10 years old, I was so excited, but I was actually, I didn't realize how scared I was to be there until I walked in. So my auntie told me we're going to this dance. I was so excited. As soon as I got in, my heart started beating, and I just kind of freaked out, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't really know how to talk to people. Like I mentioned earlier, I had social anxiety. I didn't really know how to make conversation or friends with people. So during elementary, I always had like one friend in each grade because I was a very, very, very shy person. And so I ran straight to the dance floor that night, and I stood there because I didn't know how to dance either. So I ended up copying people. And just kind of waving my arms and then bouncing around. And then I realized how much I love dancing. So this was kind of the beginning of my interest into just freestyle dancing and something that is other than powwow or Métis dancing. This was just like, dancing in the club, having fun. And these are some of the names of a lot of clubs in Edmonton where Indigenous people hung out at. They were all what they call sober dance clubs. So it's all ages. You could go get down till about 3 a.m. with your aunties, uncles, friends. And these are places where I was also very inspired by B-boys and B-girls. There was a so many Indigenous, what you would call break dancers, but the real term is b-boying or b-girling, which stands for break. So I got some pictures of some b-boys here and some b-girls. These are called ciphers. So ciphers would happen at these clubs as well. Again, I was a little too shy to jump in. I was just like, wow, I want to do that. So I would go home and do what I thought was break dancing and just dance in my living room. And then I'd go back, you know, the next weekend and just dance on the side and admire all the dancers. There was this one crew called the Red Power Squad. They were an all Indigenous b-boy, like hip hop crew. And I was very inspired by them. And when I was about 18 years old, I ended up joining this crew. So this is us in like the local newspaper here. Little photo shoot, that's us there. So I was like 18 years old here. This is back in 2003. So you could do the math. I joined this Indigenous hip hop group. This is a little video of us. Can you, hopefully you guys can see. This is at the National Aboriginal Achievement Awards back in like 2000, I don't even know, 2007. So that's Conway Kootenai. He's the lead guy. That's me in the front there. Boom, baby freeze. So I just wanted to show you a little piece of that. That was a performance. I toured with them all across Canada, the United States, and did like lots of different award shows and youth conferences. And when I was actually, I'm going to rewind a little bit. When I was like 12 years old, I had first seen these b-boys and b-girls and powwow dancers, because they would have powwow dancers on stage and they were so inspiring because they were proud to be First Nation and they would just rock the stage. And then when I heard that they had traveled all over Canada and some of the dancers traveled all over the world, I was like, man, that's what I want to do. And so when I was about 12 years old, my grandma ended up passing away, and I went into group homes and foster care. And so between the age of 12 and 18, I was struggling a lot. I also didn't attend the Indigenous school anymore. I went to a regular junior high school, and I faced a lot of racism there, a lot of bullying. I ended up transferring so many schools because, again, it was hard for me to speak up for myself. I still was that shy little girl, and then I ended up struggling in a lot of different areas there. And it was when I was 18 years old and joined Red Power Squad that it really helped change my life, because I also started struggling with drugs, alcohol. When I was a teenager, I was just going down the wrong path. So breaking really helped me, and joining the Red Power Squad helped do that for me. This is a picture of us at the Edmonton International Street Performers. So aside from Red Power Squad, the B-boys in the group, we formed our own crew called Freshly Squeezed. And so Freshly Squeezed, we would go battle. This is us at a battle there. This is Kool Herc. He's a legend pioneer of hip hop culture. This is me, Creation, and James with DJ Kool Herc. And then some of us also banded together with other crews and created what we call Rhythm Speaks. So we performed all around Edmonton and did tons of shows. And about 5 years later, I joined the FlyGirlz dance crew. So FlyGirlz we've won Artist Emerge a few times, 3 times actually. So Artist Emerge is a national hip hop dance competition where you compete. Oh my goodness, let's see this here. Oh, hey, there's us at the World Hip Hop Championships in Las Vegas. That second picture, that's us at the Canadian Hip Hop Championships. We won that. And then we got bronze medals at the World Hip Hop Championships. We won just a point off from Poriotics crew, who won America's Best Dance Crew that year. And then Paris Goebel's Request crew. Paris Goebel now, she's a Maori Indigenous woman who choreographs for every single person in the game. So her crew won first that year. And so these are some of the pioneers that I've got to train with. I've trained with a lot of different pioneers. So in 2006, I got to go to New York as sponsored by Red Bull as a Red Bull beat writer. They pick one of 30 people in the entire world to go train with pioneers. So this is Crazy Legs over there in the first picture. He's with Rocksteady crew. We got Boogaloo Sam in the second picture, and then we got Khalif Sellers. These are some of the pioneers of your favorite dances that you see on TV. Michael Jackson has been trained by Boogaloo Sam and the Electric Boogaloos. So it's like such an honor to be able to train with these amazing people. And so doing that really inspired me to follow this path in hip hop culture, what we call battling, ciphering. So these are some photos of, ooh, what's going on here? Oh, okay, I put a little link up. Okay, this is a battle. Can you see this?
It didn't play for us, Angela.
Oh, are you for real?
Yeah.
Can you see anything?
Yeah, we've got a view. Looks like some break dancing on a few different stages. We can see a few different photos. Probably your last slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, well, there's a link on right now of I'm trying to show you guys this battle. Okay, I don't know how to like get out of here.
It might just be because when you shared your screen, I think you shared the presentation and the link is in a different part.
Oh, I see. Well, guess what?
Yes.
It disappeared now. The whole thing kind of disappeared. I'm not sure what to do here. One sec.
That's okay. Let's keep going through the presentation.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But now
and
I don't know how to
share the
get
link
back
with
to
the
it.
classrooms after.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, geez Louise. Were you able to see the Red Power Squad little footage?
At the very beginning, yeah, in the earlier slide. Yep.
Okay. Cool. So this is more like battle photos. I've been able to travel across the United States and enter competitions. Queen Sweet 16, that's a 2-versus-2 battle I did with my friend Krizia. We ended up winning that one. So cool. But actually one thing I really wanted to share with you guys is I had a super duper low self-esteem when I first joined the FlyGirlz. And you know, I always thought humility meant like, oh, you got to be humble, which means like, it means you don't think of yourself as greater than anyone, but I kind of treated myself not so kindly after that. Like, oh, I guess I'm not that good, or, oh, I'm just here for fun. I don't know, like kind of with that attitude. And I remember my first time the FlyGirlz let me compete with them in this big competition. That was kind of my attitude. And then I remember the girls being so hype and they were like, yeah, we're going to win this. That's our stage. And to me, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's the right attitude. I don't know. I guess we'll do okay, you know? And the night before the competition, I was like laying in bed thinking, do I not believe that, you know, we can do this? What's going on here? And then I thought, if I don't believe I'm going to do my best, then that means I'm not going to try my absolute hardest to win. So that even if we lost, I did everything I could. I did my very best. And so I realized I would be doing my whole crew a disservice if I thought, you know, low of myself in a negative way. And so that was like one lesson that I learned about doing your best and trying your absolute hardest in everything you do, especially with dancing. So that even if you lose, it's all good, you know, you still tried your very, very, very best. And then sometimes we've come out with wins and it's just like, wow, such a bonus. And you actually get to feel in your heart what it feels like to work really hard for something and to really earn that win. So that's a really good feeling. And I want to share that story with you guys because I just remember that. I thought that'd be nice to share. Can you see my screen still?
Yep, it's still up.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this has also inspired me to share and give back. I love teaching. It's absolutely one of my favorite things in the whole world. So that's a little crew that I was training in Calgary. And then I've been to a lot of First Nation communities to share breaking and to share, oops, what is going on here? Resume share. To share powwow dancing. So, oh, sorry guys. Oh, one thing that happened after, you know, all this cool stuff is going on, I'm following my heart, but my brother Tony, who you saw earlier in the photo with me and my grandma, he ended up passing away. And it's very sad because he died in the care of children's services. And the stories you hear about residential schools, as if it's a long time ago, you know, it still continues today. And there's a lot of terrible things that happen to Indigenous people in the foster care system. And this is one example of my brother who passed away in the care of children's services. And it really affected me for a long, long time, to the point where every single year around April, because that's when it happened, I would get very, very sad and very depressed. And I didn't realize it's because of grief. And every year I'd walk off my job, or I'd quit. I would quit work or school or something, and I'd be in this very sad place. And so one thing I started doing is I began doing beadwork. And so my friend Mona Lisa McLean, she taught me how to bead. And I made this bead box, this boom box is like one of the first things I made. And as a memorial for my brother, because he loved hip hop culture, he loved to rap, he loved to write, he loved poetry. And I promised him when he was going to turn 18 years old that I would take him to a rap show and that we would, you know, go out together and celebrate life through hip hop culture. So I made this boombox, and ever since then, beading has been something for me that's part of my culture, that I've been able to, you know, deal with things in a healthy way. So this is very therapeutic. These are some other pieces I've made: medallions, earrings. And then I created my own line called Miss Chief Rocka. So Miss Chief Rocka, for clothing and like jewelry. And I'm getting ready for Indigenous Fashion Week now in 2020. So these are some of my designs. I'm doing festival wear, club wear, because again, going back to the club, this is where I grew up dancing. And so I just want to make things that, you know, are Indigenous, but like are really fly to wear when you go out dancing. So Tribe Called Red. So these guys, they're Juno Award winning DJs, producers. I joined them in 2016. So my actual first, have you guys ever heard of Tribe Called Red? No, yeah, maybe a little bit. Cool. So if you haven't heard of them, they're amazing. They take powwow music and then mix it with electronic music. And when I first heard them, this was before they were kind of famous. They were still playing in these tiny, I mean, they still play in tiny little clubs, but they weren't like mainstream yet. So they were playing in this tiny little basement club. And I remember hearing their music and I was dancing and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to tour with these guys. And I went up to them after the show because I was crazy. I'm crazy like this. This is how I am. I will just offer my gifts and see what happens. So I went up to the DJs after the show and I was like, hey guys, if you ever need a dancer, I can dance. And I was like, I could fancy dance, I could do this and be girl. And they were like, oh yeah, we saw you, like you're dope. And so actually it was crazy because a few months later I got an email to dance with them at the 2013 Inspire Awards. So this was my first time dancing. You could see me like on the top left there, just giving her. But what had happened is my brother James, who was in the crew Freshly Squeezed and Red Power Squad, they ended up taking him, and then he toured with them for about 3 years. So I was just like, oh, but I wanted to tour with them. And I really had to just be like, no, be happy for my brother. It's all good. If I was meant to dance for them, they would have asked me. So it's all good. So I was really happy for James. He danced for them for a while. And then in 2016, I got an email and they were like, hey, we're ready to bring you on tour. And I was like, awesome, my bags are ready and packed. And so these are some of the shows that we've done. I've traveled with them throughout Europe. We've been to New Zealand, every state in the United States, all the provinces of Canada, different cities, concerts, and things like that. These are just some more images. I have videos attached, but again, it probably won't play. So your teacher can send you the links. In 2017, this is my little baby. His name's Cadence. And so his middle name is Wapanissimo. He dances until dawn. And so that's Cree. And so after I had Cadence, I suffered postpartum depression really, really, really bad. And so if you've never heard of this thing, some mothers, they get this thing called postpartum depression. And it's kind of a mental illness. And I didn't know this thing existed until it happened to me. And it was very, very scary. And I had to ask for a lot of help, and I needed help with Cadence because I couldn't be in the same room with him without having a panic attack. I couldn't be alone with my son. And it was like that for a couple of months. So I had people every day coming to help me take care of baby. But I tried antidepressants because the doctor tried giving it to me and that didn't work. And one thing that really helped me was this. I started hoop dancing. So I began hoop dancing just January 2018. So it's just been almost 2 years now. And I wonder if I could share this. New share. Yes, let's do this.
Yep, this one's working.
Okay, awesome. Oh, looks like it's freezing. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. We got a good little clip of what it's like. It's pretty intense. You're pretty talented.
Sample, yeah, a little sample. I'll stop it in a couple seconds. Yeah. Oh, okay, my Wi-Fi's being, oh, okay.
So Angela, can classrooms find this on YouTube as well? Looks like if they want to play it later as well.
Oops. Yes. I'm going to
Perfect.
pause this. Yes. Let's go back.
All right. Well, Angela, if you're up for it and you're ready, I think we should meet some of our classrooms and see if they have some questions.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Perfect. So there should be up at the top of your screen a red button to stop the screen share.
Okay,
and that should bring you back.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
Okay.
Nailed it. You're back. Well, Angela, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think, sometimes telling stories, especially personal stories, is hard to do. So thank you so much for sharing with us. And also thank you for sharing that message about art, how art can be such a powerful thing for people and really help bring people out of their shells and get them through tough times. So thanks for sharing that with us today. All right. Yep. Let's meet some of our classrooms.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
I've got no doubt that our classrooms have some questions. So we're going to go to Mrs. Gill's group in Kitchener because I know their day is ending soon. So I'm going to get their microphone on. How are we doing, Mrs. Gill?
Hello. How do you feel about non-Indigenous peoples learning and performing traditional Native dances, for example, kids at school?
That's a great question. This is something that I've always kind of juggled in thoughts, and it's a continuous question that I ask myself. I love that non-Indigenous people are learning about our culture, they're learning about the dances, and they're excited about it. I love that. The spot where I kind of put it like a stop sign is maybe if they are now going to assume, our traditional regalia, they're going to get their own and then maybe start performing and making money off of it, when it's like, hey man, I thought you're just, trying it out to see how we do, but now you're kind of taking it and making money off of it, where that's where the conversation of appropriation comes in. And I feel like it's because there's so many Indigenous people across Canada, so many Indigenous children that don't have access to our culture. And I feel like that should be a priority first and foremost. And then, we can continue to share with other people. But I love when non-Indigenous people want to take part and learn. And you know what? There is a place for non-Indigenous people to participate. And we have at powwows what's called intertribals. Intertribal means everybody is welcome to dance. And so you're all welcome to go to a powwow and go spectate and enjoy, the gifts that Indigenous people have to share. And then you're welcome whenever you hear intertribal time, everybody dance. That's when you can take what you learn and respectfully do the steps that you were taught. And I feel like that's the perfect place to do that. Or, if a person is trying to share with you in class or at school and you're asked to, take part, that's another great time. But I always feel kind of weird if I see like non-Indigenous people, if they take it to a next level and then try to get regalia and then make money off of it. And so I don't know. I feel like until all schools are like have to learn our culture, just like we have to learn English, where it's like, mandatory, then I feel like we still need to respect these like boundaries of what's ours. And yeah, if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So we're going to jump to Mrs. Ford's class now, and they are hanging out with us. Some grade sixes. Let me get their microphone turned on. How are we doing, grade six?
Hi.
All right, we're ready for you. Who's got a question? Okay, so I don't know if you heard that, Angela, but she's wondering how you overcame your shyness.
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I love dancing so much. So I don't know. I guess that love overpowers the shyness, but I still get shy. Like I still struggle to dance in ciphers even. And so now I just think about if I'm an old, cookum, like 99 years old, and I look back at my life, is it really gonna matter that I was so shy? It's like, probably not. I'm probably gonna regret not doing those things more. I always try to think that way. And I don't know. I still go through anxiety and things like that. I just really just try to push myself to move forward, because I don't know, maybe that's how I'm wired. I still struggle with shyness, but art has really helped in that area. And practice makes better, and it really helps with your confidence the more you practice and do something. So
All right. We're going to jump to Mrs. Graydon's group now. I'm going to turn their mic on. How you doing, boys and girls?
hey.
Your fashion wear?
Yeah,
Where is it?
it's here at my house. It's in hiding right now because I'm going to present it at Indigenous Fashion Week in 2020. So I'm still in the process of creating a collection, what they call, so it can hit the runway. And then after that, I'm going to post it online, and then people could buy it online on my little website. I usually post what I have on Instagram, and then people buy it from there.
All right. All right. Where should we go next? We have not been. I think this is Mrs. Nash's group in Whitby, grade 6s. I'm going to turn your microphone on. Am I right? Miss Nash's group?
Yeah.
All right.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hey, what time are in? Go ahead, you're in. Okay, go.
Were any friends or family taking the 60 scoop?
What?
Try again, bud.
Were any of your friends or family taking the 60 scoop?
Yeah, I have friends that were taken in the 60 scoop. My friend Bernadette Itahale, she has shared her story with the Winnipeg Museum, that Heritage Museum or whatever it's called over there. So she talks a bit about that. And my family, I just know about like my grandma being in residential school. But 60 scoop, I never heard that much talk about that, but like in my own family, so I can't really say specifically 60 scoop wise, but yeah.
All right. Well, Angela, I want to make sure that we work in a question from the YouTube community, because there's classrooms in Alberta with us. There's classrooms in Manitoba, other classrooms in Ontario, like Peterborough and Fergus. And so the question that I want to ask you from online is, do you have a favorite song to dance to and a favorite move to dance to? Mrs. Strom's class would like to know.
A favorite.
Is there a favorite song or a favorite move that you like to do?
I really love dancing to Sisters. I like doing Fancy Shawl dance to Sisters. That's by a tribe called Red. That's one of my favorite things to do. And favorite move?
Maybe something that took a long time to learn. Is there something?
Okay, right now, because of hoop dancing, I really like when you bounce 2 hoops on one arm at the same time and they go the opposite direction. That's like a flashy wow move. So I really love that one. So now I'm trying to get it on both arms at the same time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Angela, maybe today, if you have some time, do you want to send me a few YouTube links and I'll pass them on to the classrooms? I know there was a couple you wanted to share with us, but they didn't play for us. But I know the classrooms would love to see some more of you in action. But you can share that later today with me, and I'll pass it on to the classrooms.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, very cool. Well, Angela, time just flew. It was so great to be able to spend a little bit of time with you, get to hear your story, and connect you with some classrooms around Canada. I know they were so excited for today's event. So thank you so much for taking some time to be with us. And doing what you do, because it's a lot of fun to watch the videos, and it's clearly it's something that you're so passionate about. So it's a lot of fun to see you doing it too.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks for listening. And I'll see you again.
Perfect. Let me turn the microphones on. There they are.
Hey.
All right. They love that part at the end. They get to cheer and be loud. So again, boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for your great questions. And Angela, thanks for joining us during Secret Path Week. And we look forward to another 3 days of events for classrooms coming up. So thanks, everyone.
Sweet.